And welcome to Chalk Talk with Broome head football coach Todd Staley. Well, Todd, you got a chance to get into region play. A new team in the region there, and last Friday night's game was a heck of a ball game.
It was a good ball game. I made the comment to the coach after the game when we shook hands, and I saw that he kind of got quoted in the paper. It almost had an atmosphere of a playoff game. Two really good football teams. I thought both teams played well, and it was a lot of hard hitting. It was a good football game. It really was.
Well, they ran my favorite offense, double tight, double wing, and that's probably as well as I've seen it defensed. I thought your guys were well prepared for that game.
I thought we did as good a job as any year we've ever prepared for an offense like that last week. I told our scout team offense on Wednesday of last week that if we won that game, I was going to treat them. I was going to do something special for them, pizzas or something, because they had done such a great job of showing our defense, being their scout team for the game. And it showed up on Friday night. I thought our defense was well prepared. Our defensive coaches put together a great scheme. It's a little bit different scheme than we used in the past against that. And we felt it worked to a T. It really worked well.
That team was undefeated coming in, Mid-Carolina, though, and was probably the best team you'd played so far, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, by far. Most talented team, well executed offensively, defensively, and obviously on special teams. But, yeah, they're a reason why they're ranked 6th in the state.
Again, disappointing loss. Your team played well. What can you take out of a game like that you think that will help the guys?
Well, no doubt. It puts a great emphasis on special teams, which we have ever since I've been here. You know, it's something I learned from the coaches I worked for. We don't just practice them one day a week. We practice them every day. And it taught our kids a lesson. I think it taught our coaching staffs a lesson that if we hadn't prepared them as well as we could on special teams, you can lose a game like that. And this is one of the focal points that I always give in a pregame. I'm not a rah-rah guy in the locker room. It's always about taking care of the football offensively, not giving up big plays defensively, and winning special teams. And unfortunately for us, we did not win the special teams kickoff-wise.
A game like that where they outrun the opening kickoff back and seem to pick up momentum, what do you tell your guys? Because I thought they did a good job of keeping their poise and kind of sticking in there and actually got the lead back. You know,
that's something I learned a long time ago as a young coach, that the person I worked for was never a rah-rah, get them so excited that they almost lose composure coming out of the locker room, because what happens if you do kick off and they run it back and you go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows and all momentum's gone. And I've always kind of felt like and told our teams it's a business type atmosphere or attitude when you go on the field, and our kids responded well even though they ran the kickoff back. We didn't take the ball straight back down the field and score, but we were moving the ball until we fumbled it. And we stopped them on defense, and in the second possession, we did go down and score. And so I felt like our team was well, I think they managed their attitudes. I think they managed their mental aspect of the game in that respect. That, we gave up a touchdown, but now it's our turn to come back.
Back to the road again now, though. The road has been pretty good to the Centurions this year, though. But this time you'll go for your first conference game on the road, and it'll go down to take on Emerald down in Greenwood, though. What can you tell us a little bit about their team?
Emerald is a big physical team. You're not going to see a finesse offense out of Emerald. Emerald's going to line up in double tight. Could be power I backfield, could be stack I backfield, could be an I backfield with a power wing. A lot of power football, isolation, a little bit of dive option from out of that power look. In all three tapes that we've got on them that we exchange, that's the way they start the game. They're trying to control the clock, control the football, and see if they can establish some type of a running game. Once the game's gone along, they seem to spread it out a little bit more. They go into a double wing, double split look, a lot like what Wofford runs. They show some one tight end, one back, one tight end, two back, a bunch of formations, a bunch of different looks.
Going back to the other game, that Daniel Jurgen was the player of the Fats Cafe Player of the Week last week, though. Can you tell us a little bit about, after you saw the film, on his performance?
Well, I'll tell you, we asked a lot of Daniel Jurgen and Devontae Farr last week. They were our two defensive ends that we lined up outside the tight ends and literally had them pointed in pro style, coming as hard as they could right off the end of that tight end to take on the two guys pulling the guard and the tackle. And their job was to create a pile in the backfield. And much of our success defensively is because of what those two men did. And I felt like watching the film, our defensive coach, Daniel Jurgen, just had a phenomenal game. He ended up in about 9 or 10 tackles, 7 of them solo, 1 hit for a loss. And they did what they were coached to do, and it generated the success we had defensively.
Now this team, kind of what you just mentioned, the mentality with the kickoffs and all, seems like it's been a team that hadn't gotten too high or too low after a win or loss though. But how has your practice been trying to bounce back with a game like that? I know it's got to be disappointing because that's one of the better teams in the conference that you really felt like you outplayed last week.
Well, that's the thing about this team. They really have not come back after a loss the next week, all down in the dumps, dragging around. They've come back getting ready to practice for the next game to learn what our assignments are and what our schemes are. I think that's a sign of maturity for our senior class. At least I hope so, that, we played hard. I thought that the last 2 weeks we've lost 2 games, that we played as hard of any 2 games we won, that we won. And so I think that says a lot for our kids. We need to take care of some mistakes so we can win. But, again, that's experience. These kids have played in a lot of games on the varsity level because so many of them have played since their freshman or sophomore year.
This game should be an interesting game, trying to bounce back after the loss last week, whereas on the other end, Emerald just got annihilated by Woodruff 50-8, I think, last week, though.
They did. They had a tough loss. They were actually in the game for about a quarter and a half. They intercepted a pass and ran it back for a touchdown, I believe, to make it 14-8, and had another opportunity interception right in the linebacker's hand. Probably would have gone the distance because there was nobody between him and the goal line. He drops it, and Woodruff scores 2 plays later, and from there on it was all Woodruff. Very talented team. So Emerald's looking to bounce back. These young men on their team, as talking to their coaches, have had a rough history of wins and losses for their program. We need to take advantage of that. We've got to go in there with a mentality. We're going to establish our running game and put some points on the board. And again, defensively, do what we did last week. Be aggressive at the line of scrimmage, really do a good job on their running game, and hopefully come out with a win.
Well, we look forward to going on the road again. The road's been pretty good again, and to going to Emerald and seeing the Centurions bounce back this week.
Well, we appreciate it. We invite everybody to come down if they can. We hope they're listening to you guys.
Thank you.